I'm sorry, say that again. You are breaking up a little bit.
It could be my net acting a little funky.
Well, it said a minute ago that it's unstable.
Yeah.
I'm actually I've lost the or the video. Let me see.
I don't have video on my computer.
Yeah, I'm getting you. I'm not getting me.
I see you.
Yeah. Oh, you see me? Okay. All right. So I'm
you.
seeing you. All right. As long as you're seeing me.
I like your goatee.
Thank you. It's actually not a goatee. It's a full beard, but I don't grow a very good one, actually.
Oh, okay.
And
well, the goatee part is really cool.
Good. Okay. Great. So, tell me, how you doing otherwise?
Swamped. Getting into a normalcy now that my roommate's back home.
Good.
We finally got him out of the hospital yesterday.
Right.
And it was going back and forth and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So now that we're settling down into a routine, I can crank out stuff.
Good. Well, just for your information, and remember, you're the only one in this class, so it's you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I don't have 10 people to deal with. I got you. So
yes,
I'm just saying I can give you more attention because it's just you. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
So
and
here's the deal. The deal is if you need any help, I'm in Blackboard tomorrow night from 7 to 11 Mountain Time, p.m. Mountain Time.
In other words, 8 to midnight my time.
Where are you located?
Central Dallas.
All right, so probably. I'm in New Jersey, and for me it's 9 to 1. So, but
that's dedication.
Wait till you hear this one though. Saturday I work from 9 to 2. Yeah.
How do you do it?
I got into the routine of doing it, so it actually becomes no big deal, and it is Saturday. The only problem that I encounter is on Sunday, I usually have to grade students. So this time I've got you, and last time I had you and what was her name? Carol, I think her name was. Caroline?
Yeah, Caroline.
Yeah, I only had you and Caroline. There was a guy, too, in that class, but he never, ever showed up. He never did one thing.
That sucks.
Yeah, he wouldn't respond to emails. He wouldn't, I tried to call him. I couldn't get through to him, so I don't know. But the biggest problem I have is if I have a class with 15 people and I work Saturday night till 2 o'clock in the morning, I got to get up Sunday and I have to do all the grading on Sunday because I have to submit my grades on Monday.
Yeah, you do.
So that's the only part of it that's a nightmare in any way. But hey, like I say, get used to it. And I enjoy doing this. I like doing this. I like to try to be helpful, and this is definitely a way to be helpful. So.
And you have helped me a lot. Like I told you the other day on the phone, you taught me Illustrator in ways that I didn't think I was possible of doing.
It's a great program, and you will learn it. And when you learn it, you'll find that there are things that you can do with it that you can't do any other way. I mean, as far as making graphics that are sizable, scalable, you can't beat it, So listen, I'll tell you what. I'm going to just shut off the video. There we go. All right. And so where are you? Are you okay so far with what you have to do? Do you have any questions at this point of any kind that you want to ask me?
I'm kind of not really for sure on, well, one, I got to figure out which product I want to do.
That's the first thing. Figure out what product you want. Once you figure out what product you want, then you have to decide who is going to utilize that product. Define a target audience. And that's what that means, simply. When you decide what it is that you're selling, you have to decide who would be the people that would buy it. The reason that you're doing that is because you'll then go into preparation for marketing that product to that target audience, which means you're going to basically figure out what they expect to see from you. That's where the design comes in specifically. When you're dealing with a certain group of people, you just can't throw anything at them. You got to think as a designer, what, will these people like to see? One thing you might want to do is you might want to decide on your target audience and do a random Google search of products for a particular target audience. Let's say if you're 11 or teenagers. Let's say, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
Products for teenagers, product marketing for teenagers. And you go and do a Google search and you search images and all sorts of images will come up and you'll get all kinds of ideas. Now, do I want you to copy someone's idea? No. But the bottom line is all the research that you do. I don't know, have you had a chance to look at any of my recordings yet?
I peeked at them. I was going to sit down after class tonight and just binge watch.
Okay, that's fine.
And then that maybe will help me get where I need to be.
Good. And if you need any help, like I say, tomorrow night from 7 to 11 Mountain Time. Also this week, which is week 2, and next
You
week,
also
which
have
is week
Friday,
3.
don't you?
Yes, I was just going to say 9 o'clock to 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11, 12, 1 to 2. I think 9 to,
I think you said 9 to 12.
no, I think it's either 2 or 3. I'll have to verify, but at least till 2 o'clock, from 9 o'clock till 2 Mountain Time. Okay.
That's cool.
All right. So what I was going to do tonight, I guess basically, let me do this first. Let me come over here and do this first. Let's go to announcements. One of the things, since you're here, I just want to make sure that you understand this. I put in a tremendous amount of announcements here. Okay. There's week 1.
Yeah, I saw them.
Oh, you did? Okay. There's links for week's 1 discussion, which we're past at this point. Links to article on media types for you. So if you go in there, there's actually a document you can open up, and it'll give you all kinds of links for media types. So you can learn all about media types through those links. I also submitted a design document questionnaire, which is something that I went over, I believe, last night as part of my something that you can't do because you don't have an actual client, but something that you should think about doing if you actually get work with somebody. And that you'll see what I'm talking about. I made a copy of it for you. And this basically my telling you what we're gonna do this week. Your teaching assistant, and I got and I got 2 links here. There's references for you, and
sizing.
Yep, there's week 2 links, and let's go back. And then this is what we're going to go over tonight. Links for you on sizes. Okay, now here's the thing I want you to understand. I don't want you to get confused by this. The bottom line is that I am going to show you sizes for ads, like web ad sizes and magazine ad sizes. Yeah. All right. I'm also going to open up this, I think it's linked to, wait a minute, no, I think it's actually Introduction to Electronic Publishing. So I want to talk about electronic publishing a little bit to make sure that you fully understand what electronic publishing is. Okay?
Sweet.
Then the other thing that I want to do tonight is I have 2 projects here, and one of them is both of them are electronic documents or electronic publishing pieces. This one here is my thesis paper, and the other one is a catalog that I did for a company. And the reason that I'm showing you them is because I don't know how much you know about Adobe Acrobat. And Acrobat.
Oh, I love Acrobat.
You do. Do you know how to create links in Acrobat?
No, but I think you'll teach me.
Yes, tonight that's what I'm going to do at some point. I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how I export my final projects from InDesign, because you'll probably, now that remember, I'm doing these projects for a thesis paper. I got like about 72 pages in this paper. And the other one was a custom catalog for a company, and I think there's probably around 40 pages in it. So you're not going to Candle? Huh? No, actually this is, no, it's actually, I'll quickly show you. It's actually for these people here, Firma Flooring.
Oh, nice.
And there's approximately, I don't know how many pages actually, let's see. There's like 33 pages, okay? Yeah. But the bottom line is I wanted to create an interactive PDF.
Catalog?
Yeah, so basically what can happen is you can leave this behind, you'll give them a copy of this, and the person who has it can literally go into here, which is the index, and all of these index will function so that if you want to go to cabinet construction, you click on cabinet construction and it takes you to page 5, cabinet construction. Now, every page also has an index. If you click on index, it brings you back to the index. So then you can go to say, oh, I don't know, cabinet construction for textured matte finish gallery. And you click on that, it takes you to page 17. And then there's an index to bring you back to here. So basically what it does is it sets up a navigation for you. So I want to show you how to do that, because even though you're not making a 33-page document, you're probably going to make a 4 or 5-page document, and it would be professional for you to have an index that talks about what your elements are on each one of your pages and set up a little index like this. And it's something you should know how to do, because again, this is all about, you know, all about electronic publishing. Yeah. All right. You don't have this sort of thing in regular publishing. I mean, you're very familiar with magazines. Oh, yeah. You don't have anything like that. Basically, you have an index in the magazine, and if you're an article on a particular page you want to see, you got to rifle through the magazine to find that page. So this is nice because this is online and you can utilize this link. It becomes somewhat like the same kind of thing that would happen with hypertext marketing or hypertext links in a website. That's essentially the same sort of idea, except that this is not a website, it's an actual document that somebody could read. All right?
Yeah.
That's where we're heading. So let me get back to here for 1 minute. Let's go back to our assignments. And let me just go over this a little bit here.
And I'm getting my desktop set up because I'm in the process of pulling up Notepad so I can actually take notes.
Good.
But I don't use regular Notepad. I use Note++.
Well, now that you're here, you have the ability to stop me at any time and ask me questions. And it's great, too, because there's only you. So it's like basically we don't have to compete with 10 other people. I mean, I enjoy having 10 other people. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying that you're basically got the floor anytime you need it.
I'm it.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So look, essentially what we're now doing is we're now beginning to focus on this e-publication. The e-publication essentially is going to be for your year-long advertising campaign. Now, look, don't get all confused by this. What a year-long advertising campaign means is that you're building a strategy that you're going to implement over the course of several different media types through the course of a year, which means that you're going to produce, I think the assignment calls for 3 things, and then I think they added 1 thing as an assessment for last week. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
Yeah.
All right, so what can that be? Well, that can be a poster, that can be a flyer, it can be a web banner, it can be a web ad, any 4 things you want. And I gave you links that you can go in and examine all kinds of media. You're probably working on smaller accounts, so I would be careful what you pick and consider the fact that, and I'll show you this in a minute, that web magazine ads and magazine ads, they all have standard sizes and they have rates. The rates are for the size and for the number of publications that you sign up to run the ad in. They're expensive, and they're more expensive in the magazines. They're expensive in the web too, but not as expensive as in the magazine because of additional production costs that you don't have with the web. Does that make sense to you what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the bottom line is the magazine ads are more expensive. And what happens basically is the more you agree to place the ad, the smaller the cost of the overall ad is. So in other words, if it's $50, I'm just throwing out a number. If it's $50 for one time, that's a ridiculous number. Don't take that as anything. You know, it's a number. $50.
I consider it just as an example. It doesn't mean it's concrete.
Yeah, right. $50 for one time. You might get it down to say $35 if you do it 10 times. Do you see my point?
Yeah.
And the only reason they're doing that is because they're making more money because you're committing more time to the publication.
Exactly.
Okay, and that will apply to everything. I mean, like it would be the same thing. I actually have for you links to uh, not really train, subway
Yeah.
posters, and there's all different types of subway posters, and the same sort of thing applies with the subway posters. I mean, there is actually there are different sizes. You can choose a
Mhm.
different size for different placements, and of course, it's going to cost you different amount of money for one as opposed to 10. I'm just throwing numbers out at you.
I
And
know.
and in reality, it's the same thing with bulk mail. I mean, if you decide that you're going to do a mailing piece, there are bulk mail people that you can contact and get their rates. So if you look up bulk mail, you'll actually get companies. I mean, this is not hard to do if you actually just look up what you're deciding to use. I don't want to
Yeah.
tell you what to use. I'm going to tell you what I think you should use, but I'm not going to specify that you use. You can choose whatever you
It's,
want.
in other words, it's not concrete. You're giving me the option to be creative.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you the best information I can on a broad scope, and then you can go in and make some decisions as to what you would do if you were going to put together this communication, this advertising campaign, and how you would spend money to market that campaign. Where do you think the money's best spent? So it's really important for you to, before you actually think about creating anything, decide who you're creating for. Once you know who you're creating for, what the group of people, the target audience, once you know who they are, then you can really go in and start creating something that will work for those people. All right?
That makes sense.
All right. So let's move down a little bit. And let me open this up a little bit here.
I'm probably gonna do Blue Mountain,
Blue Mountain is what now? That's a,
the ski resort.
okay, okay. Yeah, okay. So the other thing too is there's seasons there. Okay, you need to find out.
Mhm.
I don't know whether Blue Mountain really exists or not. I would Google Blue Mountain and see if something comes up, and if it does, do some research by reading what it does. What are their years? How do they run? What do they have seasonal things? Is it like all year round? Do they have different things all year round? This is the kind of thing you need to try to determine. If there
It's
isn't, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's either that or I do Discovery Island because I did Discovery Island before, and I want to give a new spin on it and do it right this time.
Well, then you could do that too. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will accept whatever your judgment tells you to do. I have no problem with that. My job is to just see how much I can do to help you so that this doesn't become a nightmare for you. I don't want it to be, and it doesn't have to be. The truth of the matter is you need to do a little bit of research, you need to decide on a target audience for a product or service that you're marketing, and then you need to determine how you're going to approach that target audience. Where do you think you can get those people? Now, keep in mind that magazines, we'll talk about this a little further in a little bit, but magazines and online publications are quite similar. They basically have magazines that are specifically targeted towards very specific things. You know, like travel magazines, adventure magazines that target
Yeah.
sort of things. So one thing that you're going to want to do is if you, let's say, go to Adventure Island, you're going to want to try to look up e-publications, adventure based e-publications, and see what you come up with. And then if you pick one that you like, you're going to contact them or see if they have rates that you can easily find. If they probably will have a page where you can go in and get rates. I'm going to show you magazine and web ad rates, but they're going to be generic. They're not going to mean anything to you other than just an example of what they look like. So you'll know what you're looking at, and you'll have the ability to ask me questions about it tonight. Okay, because again, I couldn't pick one for you because I don't know what you're doing. So I got generally mag ads and I got web ads for you to look at, and we'll go over that shortly. All right.
Okay.
All right. So basically, it's telling you here that essentially part of advertising campaign has long been print media, specifically magazines and newspapers. Publications have changed dramatically over the years, 10, 15, or even 5 years. Several now have online versions of the publication and in print. Almost all of them do now. I mean, seriously. And many have begun the process of phasing out the paper magazines altogether. There's a very good reason for that. The costs have become astronomical. the magazines now, I remember a magazine used to be $1.50. Now they can go.
Oh, I remember that.
Right. And what are they now? They're anywhere from $3 to $5 for a magazine, you know? And of course they want you to get a subscription, because then this way, you know, you're on a subscription list and, you know, all that stuff. So I don't buy any magazines. I really don't. I don't look at them. I'm not interested in them anymore. But they do have online magazines, and that's something that you could look into when you do your research for production of, say, if you're going to do a web ad or something like that. All right.
I'm thinking about doing web ad because I love to do web design.
Great. And I have no problem whatsoever. Just make a logical case for why you're doing what you're doing when you create your you know, your document.
Yeah.
All right. So in the digital age of design, it's important to know how to design online versions of publications. Oh, that's nothing. Prompt. For this assignment, you will be designing the EPUB part of your campaign. Research online publications. This is where you really have to pay attention, because this is what they're telling you to do. So you're going to research online publications that your client should advertise in. All that means essentially is like decide what your client is, who your client is, and decide what sort of online publication would make sense for you to advertise in. And again, if it's some sort of a seasonal event thing, you're gonna look for the seasonal event magazines, you know, like a Winter Magazine or Winter Sports Magazine or Winter Getaways. See, stuff like that. That's what you're looking for. And believe me when I tell you, if you put the right words into Google, you'll get all kinds of stuff, because that's what I do. I do it all the time. And
I'm a researcher.
It's not hard. It really isn't. And you only really need one. You don't need to do 10. It would be nice to mention several in your actual publication that you're preparing, that these are potential, but then we've done research on this one particular. So maybe come up with 2 or 3 different names for publications and use one as your example. That would be great.
Okay.
All right. Make sure that the publication addresses the target audience for the client you choose. So if you're looking for something like a seasonal magazine, a seasonal vacation magazine, that's going to probably cover a very wide scope. I mean, from anywhere from young families to young adults to older adults. I mean, it's going to run the gambit.
Including seniors who are, you know,
healthy enough to go do it. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah. So consider all that, you know what I mean? And think, well, if it's something as broad-based as that, then you have a very large target audience you can identify, and you should tell me what they are. And then basically you have to think, how am I going to market this so that all these people will find it appealing? Because they're going to all see things a little differently. I'm 65 years old, and I can tell you right now, I see things a lot different than I did when I was 25 years old, you know?
Okay, there is no way you look 65 years old.
I'm 65, my dear. I sure am.
Well, that's a compliment.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, I can understand. It would be like something maybe my mom would want to do. She's 71.
Yeah. As long as they're healthy enough to do it, and they have, you know, easier ones for us older people, cool.
Yeah.
So here's the first part of the assignment. You're going to choose a publication to design an online magazine or newspaper style advertisement. So check it out. It's actually telling you what to do.
It wants.
Right. Now, if you go through my recorded sessions, the last 3 recorded sessions, you're going to find that I have a particular bias for one over the other. And I can tell you right now that my bias is for online magazines as opposed to newspaper style advertisements. And if you listen to my
I was going to say, you already know my choice. I told you it was going to
be right.
Web.
But my point is that I've got some information that you can read that will give you more details as to why that bias exists, why I think that bias holds true. And again, it has to do with the links and what I said in my recorded sessions. So once
Yeah, the hyperlink so that you can actually go to the place and see
Right.
it.
I've supplied you with all that stuff. You download them and check out as much as you possibly can. And that again, you can use them. I've even said that some of them have persons, authors, and they have dates and they have publication names. So if you need to generate uh, references or citations, you're not going to have any trouble because most of them
Mm-mm.
are eminently quotable. Okay.
That's great. That'll
Yeah.
help me.
Well, I try to do a lot of the work for the students because I know how busy they are and I know how much they have their own lives and stuff like that. And I know how to do this very well. So what I do is I just go in and I pull out a bunch of stuff and compile it, throw it in there. And
And then
usually it's
say,
more than
here you
enough.
go.
Yeah, more than enough that you have. So once the publication is chosen, look at the publication's site and find out what the required specifications are for the advertisement. So you can find out on the site because the site usually is complete and it will give you a list of advertisers' specifications. And what you're going to do is, and you know, I'm going to show you after I talk about this, I'm going to show you magazine and web specifications. I'm going to show you stuff like that. So you'll get an idea of what that looks like and what you're looking for anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the worst case scenario, if you're not able to find it in that publication, you don't have the time to go find another, you can utilize the information that I've given you either on the web ad sizes or the magazine sizes and fake it. As long as you're giving me the information, which I'm going to show you, you'll be fine. Okay. Because this isn't real. This is all just make believe. And the most important thing is that you understand how to do this more than, you know, the fact that it's accurate. As long as it's legitimate and what you're doing makes sense, that's really what counts here. All right?
Yeah.
So you're going to create a cohesive advertisement for your company campaign per your week campaign development research, meaning essentially that you're going to produce 3 or 4 things. I believe it's a total of 4 different things. They have to coordinate. In other words, the branding should be consistent. The logo placement should be consistent. Everything that makes them look like they come from the same company should be there. And there should be pieces done for at least 4 different media types. Okay? So you're
Right.
talking about potentially something like maybe a trifold brochure. You could do a cover for it. You could do a poster for a subway, if that's what you want to do. You could do a poster for a bus terminal, a bus station poster. You could do an advertisement, a web ad, a couple of web ads, whatever. You could even redesign the website if you want. It's completely up to you. There's all kinds of media types that you can find in the material that I've submitted to you. So you should have no trouble coming up with 4 pieces to produce. It shouldn't be a big deal. And the nice thing about it is because you're creating a campaign, they all should resemble one another. So it should be something that you can handle. And again, if you have any problems, look for me on the days that I'm available and I'll help you. It's not a problem.
Either that or call you and say, hey, I'm pulling my hair out.
That's right. And if I'm available, I will definitely do what I can for you at that point. If not, I'll let you know when they get back to me and I'll
And we'll
work
set up
with you.
an appointment. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So public or site, create a cohesive advertisement. When designing the ad, keep in mind the creative requirements for the campaign target audience, and the audience of the publication. So the audience of the publication, theoretically, many of
Should
them
be my target audience.
they will be at least in some part the target audience, I would think, because actually it's going into the publication. And if you target the publication correctly, another thing that you might want to do is you might want to try to figure out where this particular customer is located and see if they have any online magazines for that area. That would be the first thing that you would do. Okay, so like let's say it's Maine. See if there's any Maine advertising EPUBs. Look up for Maine recreation, winter recreation EPUBs, and see if anything comes up. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if things did come up. And think that way. Think about specifics. Think specifically as you possibly can. Start from that and work out from there. Okay?
Okay.
And then save your advertisement, the format per the publication requirements. If you have any questions about that, you can ask me. Generally speaking, if you're going to be working with something that's going to be a web ad type of a deal or an EPUB, you're probably going to be creating a pixel-sized JPEG or PNG file. That's what I would guess, and probably a JPEG's as good as anything. That's really what you're going to be creating for that. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're creating a newspaper or a magazine ad, that's a different story. You want to create something more along the lines of a TIFF or an EPS, and you have to make sure that the size and resolution is correct. And the resolution for print is 300. You know that?
Yeah, and 72 for web.
There you go. So make sure you do these things, because this is for you as much as for me. You know, make sure you're doing these things like real, okay? Here's the pain in the neck part. You got it for the second part. Submit a 500-word document describing why you chose that publication. So essentially, give me a rationale. Why are you using that publication? It should be relatively simple, actually. I chose this particular publication because out of all the magazines that I looked for, this particular one reached a wide target audience, and it was focused on a specific area of the country, which is the proper area of the country for my particular client. Now, that's a very brief way to put it. You can expand on it quite a bit more, but you get the idea. I mean, basically, you know, it's easy to just create a rationale for something. You're targeting an audience, and you're using something that would, you know, be useful to that audience if they were considering going to that area of the country. Okay?
Makes sense.
Explain what design and advanced techniques you are utilizing and how you are appealing to not only your campaign target audience, but to the target audience of the publication as well. And again, they probably will be simultaneously, but the bottom line is, you know, what advertising techniques, what are you using? What kind of techniques are you using? You know, what are you working in Photoshop, Illustrator? You using photo montage? What are you doing? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have any questions about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. Include a link to the publication site where you found the specifications for the advertisement. That's essentially your key reference. What I would do is, if it's possible, make note of the name of the publication and the name, if there is, of an editor. See if you can locate the editor, the editor's name, and the date of the publication that you're working with, and just put the link into it. And then that should be cool. All right?
Yeah.
All right, now, you're going to submit a multi-page PDF that includes the advertisement and your write-up. So it's going to probably be 4, maybe 5, 6 pages. You might have a title page, you might have your document that talks about your paper, and then you might have your sample pages. So you got a 4 or 5 page document. That sort of justifies why I'm going to be showing you how to do these links, so that you can do something really cool, like have an index page where you can basically tell whoever's looking at this where everything is, and create links that they can go to anything they want to look at it, which I think is just a really cool way to go. So I'll show you how to do that tonight as well.
Cool.
All right, we good?
I'm good.
All right, so I'm going to do this very quickly. This is an introduction to electronic publishing. There's 43 slides. I'm going to breeze through these, and I'm going to stop when I have something specific I want to say, or stop if you stop me and ask a particular question. So this is electronic publishing. And again, I have a very big bias towards electronic publishing because I know a couple of things for a fact.
Okay.
This link you'll have, so you could go in here and you could go back over this, and there's all kinds of other stuff that you can see. Here's e-publishing, there's electronic publishing. You can look at all this if you want at your leisure, because you have this link. I'm just going to go into the introduction to electronic publishing because I think that's where we are at this point. My bias is based on the fact that I tend to believe that magazines and newspapers are slowly dying. They're not dead yet, but they're slowly dying. I think they're
the older generations still hold on to them.
That's true, and there's still a bunch of younger people that look at magazines, so I don't discount all that. But I'm saying the electronic publishing, I think, is slowly taking the lead. And the problem with traditional magazines is the cost factor, I believe, is far greater than the cost factor of ad placement in e-publications. Now, of course, you know, they're going to hit you for space just like they hit you for space in a magazine. So the bigger the publication, the more it's going to cost you for that space, because people are still vying for those spots. But you don't have the same level of expenditures for the print setup and separations and stuff that you require for traditional magazine ads. All you would do is submit to them an appropriate advertisement in an appropriate file format, and wingo, they put it right in, right?
Right.
Okay, so you understand all that?
Yep.
All right, so publishing, the process of production and dissemination of literature, information, activity for making information available to the general public. Some cases, authors may be their own publishers. Originators and developers of content also provide media delivery and display to content for the same. There's a lot of people literally that have started their own little e-publishing company where they publish specifically specialized magazines that target very specific things. That's what I was trying to tell you before. When you start doing this, decide who your customer is going to be and look for e-publications about, and then whatever it is your client is looking for, or what your client is providing. I'm sorry, not looking for, but what your client is providing. And what you're also going to do is see if you can locate publications that are targeting specific areas. So as I said, if this is somewhere up in Maine or up in Vermont, see magazines, e-magazines for recreation or vacations in Vermont. And I would be willing to bet you that you will actually get publications that will come up. And those publications would definitely be worth considering, because I would think that somebody who really wants to go to Vermont and doesn't have a lot of knowledge would be doing the same thing. They would be doing a search for a publication in Vermont. And I'm using Vermont as an example. You're going to go wherever you decide you're going to go with this, or wherever you need to go depending upon your client. So here's traditional printing. This is the old engraving, all right?
Yeah, the Gutenberg press.
Yeah, that's very early. But the thing that you need to understand is that this was cutting edge one day, okay?
Yeah.
Today, it's a novelty. But in the day of Gutenberg, this was like cutting edge stuff. So the reason I'm pointing this out is because a couple of slides forward, it says something that to me kind of like is wrong, and I'll point that out to you. Just keep that in mind. At one time, early or during the 15th century, this was high tech, cutting edge, really amazing. People were flipping out over this. Okay. All right. Advantages and disadvantages of traditional publishing. This is good because this is what you really need to know. Okay, so the advantages of traditional publishing: visually appealing. So is e-publishing. Tangible and durable. So is e-publishing. Higher perceived value. So is e-publishing. See, all of these things.
How is e-publishing tangible? Because
it
traditional
actually
publishing, you have it in your hand.
It's not that you have it in your hand, but it is a PDF that you can distribute. You can actually take that PDF, you can display it on your computer or on your tablet, and you can send it to me. So that makes it tangible. It may be virtually tangible, but that means it's still tangible, right? You see my point?
Yeah, I see your point now.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
No, and the point I'm trying to make is that, they're saying advantages of traditional publishing. There's nothing in here really that is, you could say basically the same thing about e-publishing. No access to technology is required. Well, that's not a good thing, actually, because the bottom line is, if you have a magazine and you're looking through the index of your magazine and you want to find something on page 73, you can't just click a button and go to 73 automatic. With e-publishing, you can do that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So, greater quality control, I totally disagree. I think that you can control the quality of an e-publishing and in an e-publishing environment just as well. Accepted norm. It is the accepted norm for people over 65 years old. I think what's slowly happening is, as we dinosaurs die out, the accepted norm is going to begin to change. And I think we're right on.
Wait a minute. You dinosaurs are also changing to technology too.
Well, of course we are, but some of us are. Most of us are. Some of us are not.
Hmm. Yeah,
My
the
point,
diehards aren't.
right. My point is that I think that's not really a completely valid statement because I like e-publishing myself. And you see, I'm really pushing it very hard. So I have a
Yeah.
certain kind of bias towards it. That doesn't mean you can't decide to do a regular magazine ad. I would have no problem if you do that. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. So don't just go by me. Don't think, well, I'm just going to impress Bill. Nothing's going to impress me that way. What's going to impress me is what you do and how smart you are with the steps that you take. That's what's going to impress me. And I'll do everything I can to support you to make sure that you have what you need to make those smart decisions. Okay?
Thank you.
So valuable, certifiable, and collectible. Well, I mean, you can collect. I don't know what valuable. Valuable, you pay for something. I mean, you pay for
Yeah,
a
but
publication too, and you can store it and keep it just as well.
look at
Certifiable.
comic books.
I think the guy who wrote this is certifiable. Well, yeah, but there's a difference. If you have an e-publication or a publication like a Time magazine, I suppose Time magazine might be valuable at some point, but not all of them will be. Certain ones might be for some reason. Like
The older ones are, but the newer ones aren't.
the newer ones because they make so many of them.
Yeah.
Right now, if you got a hold of the magazine where they announced that Hillary Clinton was elected president, that they had a poll, if you had one of those magazines, given 25 years, that magazine is going to be worth a fortune
Yep.
because it's a piece of history. See what I'm saying? And they had to remove all of them before they all got out. But some of them, I guarantee you, got out. And some people, I bet you, have them in a plastic bag and they're keeping them safe because that will be something valuable one day.
Worth money, yeah.
Yeah. And collectible and certifiable, well, I think people can collect if they want PDFs as well. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to knock.
I do. I collect ebooks, PDFs, you name it.
That's good. Does not require a power source. Well, now that one there is true without a doubt. It doesn't require a power source. No
Oh
question.
my gosh, they have a typo.
Does. Yeah, DOES does.
Uh-huh.
It's common. It's common. I make typos too. And, if you're working and you're hurrying on things, it shouldn't be in here though, but you're right. You got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Disadvantages. Books are expensive. Hey, have you bought a book recently?
Last time I bought a book, it cost me $12 and change.
Oh yeah. Well, I hate to tell you, they're more than $24, and some of them go close to 100. And I don't
was
buy the real
buying it.
expensive ones.
I bought it at half price books. So
Yeah.
But
Difficult.
yeah, you're right. They are.
They are expensive. Difficult to find a publisher. I'm not sure what that means. Difficult to find a publisher.
Well, you gotta finding publishers unless you self-publish today
Yeah.
is very difficult to find because
Yeah,
then
but you're
you gotta
not
go through editors and stuff like that. A friend of mine is an editor.
right, but you're not creating necessarily creating an entire magazine. What you're creating is a series, an advertising campaign. Well, I guess
Yeah,
since they're talking about publishing, though, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
Costly to publish, high printing costs. See, there you go. Costly to publish, high printing costs. You know who pays for those printing costs? You do when you place advertisement.
Yeah.
Restricted in multimedia. I would pretty much say, with the exception of many, some of them having inserts that have like maybe DVDs on them, I would think they're devoid of multimedia other than for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, distribution is labor intensive and costly. It means basically that somebody has to produce, they have to pack, they have to distribute the magazines. The person who gets the distribution of magazines has to put them up in their store, and they have to sell them one at a time.
Yep.
And a lot of them get returned. So yeah, costly. Limited number of copies printed. Well, theoretically, I mean, when you create a PDF, you create one PDF, and from that one PDF spawns out maybe tens of thousands, depending upon how good your publication
PDF is.
Yeah. All right. Requires storage space. Well, you have to have storage space for online work as well. Lower profit margin for the author. There you go. So because of the costs involved, okay, the author has to pay more and gets less money. Whereas with a PDF, you have somebody basically designs it, the same person who designs it, makes it interactive, and then sends it out, and that's it. So I mean, you'll pay the guy a lot of money to be good, but it's, there's a heck of a lot more labor involved in producing a magazine.
Yeah, one of my friend who's a publisher, she says, never quit your day job.
Right.
And on top of that, nobody's J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. So these are some definitions. I'm going to blow through these because this will take all night. All right. So electronic publishing is e-publishing or digital publishing.
And I can always go back and read them.
Yeah,
so if you
absolutely.
Go through them, that's cool.
Electronic publishing is creation, distribution, digital content through a variety of electronic media, web, CD-ROM, and disk. True digital takes advantage of network tools and multimedia capacity. Web publishing, what else are we saying here? Also known as online publishing.
Yep.
Products, let's see what we got for products. CD-ROMs, online newspaper, online catalog. This is good because this gives you an idea of some of the things that you might look for when you're trying to find your publications, okay? You have this link. So mobile, I would definitely not do something for iPad. Stay away from iPad. I don't think people like advertising on iPad very much.
I'm a Kindle girl.
Okay, Kindle. Well, I would say go with Kindle ebooks and go with laptops and desktops.
Yeah, Kindle. Kindle's my deal.
Yeah. So you've got a VR code, so now you get a quick response out of it. There's more of it. Version information. See, format information. I'm not going to go through all this. You could go through it and see what.
I'll go through it. Don't worry.
Trademark. Let's see. OR code, abbreviation from quick response code. And advantages dish font. Okay, so let's see. They're going to say similar things here. Special or speedy, easily searchable. See, that's what's great about it. It's easily searchable. That's what I want to show you. I want to get to at least one of these and show you how to do at least one of these. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm only going to do enough that I can show you how the process is done, so that
give me an idea.
Exactly. All right. So yeah. So this is very important. The advantages of e-publication: easily searchable. That's one thing that it has that a magazine doesn't have. So keep that in mind. Interactive. There you go. Great word. That's what it is. Easily searchable. Interactive. Lower cost of review, change, and additions. Yes, it is actually much lower cost, because all you have to do is go into your publication program, which in this case I'm using InDesign. Go into InDesign and make your modifications, and then resave your publication as a PDF, relink, and then upload. Accessibility. Electronic publishing are accessible to all users regardless of geographic location. As long as you have access to the internet, you'll have access to this internet publishing, this e-publishing. Okay?
Yep.
Links and added value. I don't have any external links in any of mine, but the way I'm setting up my internal links are the exact same way that you can set up external links should you need to do that. And I'll show you, I'll basically explain it to you when we get there.
Okay.
6, save time and storage. Save time. You can save it electronically. So yeah, you can store these things as opposed to having paper, which takes up a great deal of space. This takes up gigabyte space. So
yeah, and it keeps your environment cleaner.
Much cleaner. Advertising of e-publishing. Keep rights. Paper publishers usually try to obtain as many rights as possible. E-publisher usually retains none. So, disadvantages of e-publisher. Temporary disadvantages. God, what type is this? What are they, nuts?
Oh man, that hurts my eyes.
Web services not yet available everywhere. Many people, pretty much everywhere, will need. No, I'm not going to read that. You can try to read it. That's ridiculous. Inherited disadvantages acquires computing equipment to use, etc. Well, everybody has it. No, this is silly.
This is archaic.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, most everybody's got computers at this point of some kind or other. So, and most computers that exists today on the computer. It has Acrobat Reader. And that's
Yeah.
all you need on any computer to read a PDF. You don't need Acrobat. Acrobat is if you're going to edit it, okay? Which is what I'm going to do tonight, all right?
Yep.
Theft of literary and scientific. The existence of this vast amount of information on the internet makes easy to carry out piracy and robbery. Well, the bottom line is, you have to be comfortable in what you put out there. I mean, if you don't really want robbery, then don't put something out on the internet. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Or if you're going to put it out on the internet, try to put it out in an exclusive way. I'll give you an example. If you go up to YouTube, there is an open area of YouTube, a public area, and there's a private area. And if you want to privately put something up online to YouTube, what happens is you go in, you're not going to be able to see that or know it's even there unless I give you a passcode to go in to see it. You know that, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
So, I mean, you can keep these things safe. Persistent citation, costly to publish. Costly to publish. It's true that the overheads are lower for the publisher, but it doesn't mean the cost of the book itself is less. So they're going to charge you for the cost of the book. It will be cheaper. Everything will be cheaper. Everything will be cheaper. I mean, as far as my overall experience of this, they are always cheaper to buy. Sales for ebooks are not as great as they are for paper.
On the contrary, now there is people are doing
a lot of people.
ebooks.
You're absolutely right. So it's not not entirely true.
We've got things like Kindle Unlimited where people, get as many ebooks as they want for a charge.
So a user must have a computer monitor, software, service provider, and browser. Well, most people have that. Even poorer households have that. Yep. Technical difficulties. Reader must possess some basic computing, and most people have that. E-publishing initially requires readers to have certain software for ebooks. Acrobat Reader, that's about it. Types of e-publishing. Hard disk.
Actually, Kindle Reader can do it.
Yeah, Kindle Reader too. Hard disks, other magnetic media, magnetic tapes, CD-ROM, disks, multi-purpose media, USB, SD cards, MP3, MP4, according to the type of databases, bibliographical databases, full databases, reference databases, statistic databases, or numerical databases. Plus, remember all these e-magazines, which would probably be just all over the place circulating. Yep. According to points of access and methods of access to information. Localized, specialized. There you go. See, you're going to go looking for local, specialized before you get into national. Okay, that's what you're looking for. Specialized. When you do your search for e-publications to put your ads in, you're looking for localized, specialized publications for whatever your particular category of product is. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Accounting for, this is really hard to read this type. There are 2 points of processing information available to commercial sources, institutions, and businesses. Yeah, there you go. So you're looking for, you're going to create a business one. That's ultimately what you'd be doing. Sources of institutions and organizations such as universities, research. So you're in a business realm. Electronic publishing. Strengths, weaknesses, limitations, and opportunities and threats. Strengths, characteristics of a business or a projected team that give an advantage over others. Weaknesses, characteristics that place the team at a disadvantage. Opportunities, chance to improve performance. Threats, elements in the environment that could cause trouble. How important is that at this point? I don't think so much. Technique is credited to Albert Humphrey. We don't need to know about that. SWOT analysis, we don't need to know that. You're going to look at this stuff. Electronic publishing, you'll look at that. Glossary, okay, we're at the glossary. An ebook is an electronic or digital version of a book. Bing, there you go. Print on demand is a new method for printing books, which allows books to be printed one at a time or on demand. Ridiculously expensive. But this ebook is an electronic, that's what you're talking about. Yep. Scanning, forget that. Optical characters, forget that. Portable document, PDF, this is what you're working with, PDF. It's an open standard for document exchange, the file format created by Adobe Systems in 1993, used for representing documents in a manner independent of application software and operating systems. So that's essentially true, but you still do have to have a reader of some sort to access that file. You can't really completely open a PDF in a browser unless the browser has a specific area within the browser that's PDF accessible.
You have to have a separate extension for it.
Yes. And there you go. That's the end of it. Okay, so I'm done with that. I don't mean to rush through this, but I'm burning up too much time, and I got other things that I really want to get to. So here's what I want to do.
Let's get to those.
So here's what we're going to do. I got my signatures catalog here, and I got my final project catalog here. This is actually, yeah. So I have an index here, okay, and I have an index here. This is this publication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my final project, okay, and I'm going to go File, Export, and I am going to go Adobe PDF Interactive. You see it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm choosing. I'm going to call it my I hope I spelled that right. Thesis.
Yeah, that's about right.
Thesis document. And I'm going to save it in DES week 2. There we go. And hit save. And I'm just going to let it go. All pages, viewing default. I'm just not worried about all this right now because I'm just saving it so I can actually work on it. Don't worry about the overset text. I already checked that out. It's nothing. It's just returns. Document is using CMYK. That's not a problem. And there it's exporting it. It's a big one, so it'll take a minute.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah. This is what I really wanted to get to. And then after we get done with this, we'll go back to the links and we'll look at this stuff. But I wanted to make sure I did this. Okay, so there we go. There's my thesis document. And I'm going to close this, right? And this I should close too. I don't need this out here. If I can get this down. Ugh. There we go. Okay, move this out of the way. Over there. All right, so now I have my, let's go to the view. There we go. Okay, so I need to go to page 2. So this is my index. So what I am going to do, if you take a look at this, my index shows all the pages that my different sections are on. So this section is about prosthodontics in New Providence, New Jersey. Primarily, that's talking about Dr. John and his office, his business. Rocking the Social. What that is that's an article that talks about the social media that is employed by Dr. John in his New Providence business. Edentulalism and the prosthodontist. This basically talks about edentulalism and the prosthodontist, which he is a prosthodontist. And he's more than a regular dentist. He does very elaborate dental work for people that have huge problems like cancers or in accidents where the face is destroyed, and he's rebuilding people. He's an amazing man, actually.
Sounds like it.
Yep, this talks about how I met him and then the design process that I went through with him. And you can see that there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It goes on and on and on. There's like 71 pages in here. So you have to understand that this is for a master's thesis. So I had to go through this creative process to create a product for him. That's what this is all about. And I had to do all this kind of research, and I had to create this entire paper for that purpose alone. Okay? So what you're creating is a fraction of this. It's like 5 pages of this. You would be here on what you're doing. I had to go through here. Now, the difference is I had, I think I had 12 weeks in which to do this. 12 weeks. Now, I did it in 3 weeks.
I get 3.
Huh?
I said I get 4.
Yeah, you get 4, but you see, you only have to do 5 pages, so you can do 5 pages in 4. I did all 71 of these pages in roughly, I'd say probably about 3 weeks. That it took me 3 weeks to do this. But then, of course, I had the help of John, who literally, supported me through this whole thing. See, this guy is not just my client; he's a friend. We've become very close friends, and he's a really wonderful person. So here's the deal.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the guy. He's wonderful. If everybody I knew was like him, we'd have a wonderful world here. That's the way I feel about it.
Cool.
So here's what's going to happen. I am going to show you how to take this index and to develop interactivity utilizing these links and the pages that they're supposed to be going to. Okay?
Makes sense.
All right. So what I'm going to do first is I got this opened in here. I'm on the index page. This is where we're going to be working. So I'm going to go to tools. You're familiar with tools, right? You've seen this?
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
going to go to where it says edit PDF. Okay? And oh Jesus, this one's already done, I think. Uh-oh. Is this already done? Hold on, let me get out of here. Oh, these are my magazine ads. Let me go. No, wait a minute. That can't be right. File. That can't be right. Hold on. Maybe two. Thesis document. Okay, why did that do that? All right, let's go to tools. Let's go back to thesis document. Let's go to page 2 first. Okay, go to tools, edit PDF. Okay, so now let's see. What I want to do is link. Okay, add, edit web or document link. Okay, auto create web links from URLs. Remove web links, append all links on the page, view web links. So these are the tools that you get to use. Mostly what you're going to be using is, and you get it when you go into the tools area, the edit area, and you're going to go to link. What you're going to be working with is the add, edit, web, or document link. We are going to be building document links because our links are going to go from page to page. That's really what it is. Okay. Now the problem I have is that my numbering system is different in here than it is in here. Okay, this isn't page 2. Page 2 is actually prosthodontist and New Providence. So I have to do this a slightly different way. If you have your page, see if you go down to the bottom here. Oops, let me go back. Let me go just to the bottom of that one page. Okay, see how there's no number on that page?
Yeah.
Okay, this is prosthodontist in New Providence, New Jersey. Look at what number that page says. 3. Okay, 3. So I'm going to have to come in here and I'm going to create a link. Okay, so I'm going to add, edit a web link. See how it goes away? See how all those boxes went away?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how I got that little crosshair?
Yep.
I'm going to click and I'm going to drag to create a shape. And what happens is the create link pops up automatically. And it asks me what type I want. I want an invisible rectangle. I don't want you to see this. I want this to be a mouse over type thing that when you sit over top of it, you get the finger like you get when you hit a link. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So their choices here are invisible link or visible rectangle. You can make it a visible rectangle if you want, but I don't. I want it to be invisible. So I'm going to leave that alone. And then the highlight style can be none, invert, outline, or inset. So there's different effects that you could give it. I don't want any. I don't want there to be any highlight. You'll see why in a minute. Then the action is go to a page view, open a file, open a web page, or a custom link. Any one of these you could use. If you have a file, you could click on this, and what it will do is it will send you into another page where you will go and you will find, it's like a browser, and you'll go and you'll, okay. The open a web page, what will happen is if you click on that, or if you put your button there and hit next, it'll open up a window where you could put the web address in, and then when you click on that link, it will go to that link. And a custom link actually is, I don't know what that is. I've never used it at all. So I have no idea what a custom link is, to be totally honest with you. But the one that we're going to be using is go to a page view. Okay? So when this opens up, it's invisible rectangle, none, and go to a page view. I hit next. And now you see the highlight comes up. See the highlight?
Yep.
And you create go to view. Use the scroll bar, mouse, and zoom tools to select a target view, then press the set link to create the link to the destination. If I click now, I'm going to set the link to the index, and that's not what I want. So what I'm going to do, just so that you understand, I'm looking for prosthodontics, New Providence, New Jersey. I'm going to click here, look. Prosthodontics, New Providence, New Jersey. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit set link. Now, that has been set to Prosthodontics, New Jersey. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
All right, let's do another one. I just want to make sure that you completely understand how to do this. It's actually, I think, very simple. Now, just so that you understand this, this is still activated. In other words, I'm still in the editing mode. I have my little cursor here. I'm now ready to create all of these links. I'm going to create a bunch of them so that you can actually see them and you have the ability to ask me questions about it. But I'm going to come down and click the next one, okay? Now I'm going to click again and I'm going to drag a box around this, okay? And I get the same thing again. Now, since I already have this set up to a link type of invisible rectangle and a highlight of none and a go to page view, until I actually physically change it, they're going to come up. So once I've set this the way I want it, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just set it and forget it.
I set it once, yeah, set it and forget it until I want to do something else. Then I change it. So I'm just going to go to next, and I get the same thing. Go to view. Use the scroll bar, mouse, and zoom tools to select the target view. So now what I need to do is I need to go and find Rocking the Social. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to click down to the next page. That's not it. That's not it. Rocking the Social. See it?
Yep.
Set link. And now that has been set to Rocking the Social. So when I click on this link, it's going to go to Prosthodontist, New Providence, New Jersey. This is going to go to Rocking the Social. Let's do the next one, which is Udentialism and the Prosthodontist. I'm going to do about 5. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how to do the returns. Okay, so again, really, this is all so simple. It's once you do this, once you do it 100 times, it's all the same. You have no headache. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to mess this up and show you how you can fix it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that one here. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to set link, and now it's linked to the wrong page. It's linked to the index. I did this on purpose, okay? So keep that in mind. I did this on purpose. I made a wrong link. The reason I'm doing it is because I want to show you how to fix it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's do the next one, which is How I Met John Carino. Click on that, drag it over here. Again, it opens up automatically and all your settings are the same. Go to next. How I Met John Carino is on 8, I believe. So let's go and see what 8 brings me. There it is, How I Met John Carino. Set link. Now that one's set. The design process. One more. So is this clear? Do you have any questions about what I'm doing here?
No.
So I'm going to go now. Yeah, so I got the design process. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in. I'm going to look for the design process. This is the hard way to do it, but I want you to understand how I'm doing it. The design process, I think, is right there. Do you see the design process?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my link page. So I'm going to set link. Now I'm going to go File, Save.
Are you going to fix the one you broke?
Not yet. I'm going to show you. Watch. All right, so let me just go File, Open. All right, let's go in and let's go to week 2. And no. We're going to go to, it's not that one. I want desktop. There we go. And we want to go to week 2 and thesis document, open it up. Okay, now let's go to this. Okay, so here we go. What I'm going to do is come over that. See what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
See what my mouse is doing?
It gives you a finger instead of a link.
Right. Now I'm going to click on that and I go to Prosthodontist. Now the problem is I haven't set returns yet. So I have to manually back out of here. Okay? Rocking the Social. See, it takes me to page 5, Rocking the Social. See how well this works?
Yeah.
I'll do one more. Udentialism and Prosthodontist. See, wrong link. So we have a problem here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the thesis document. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to edit PDF. And again, I'm going to get my link. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this. And what I'm going to do is leave this alone. I'm going to go to Actions. Okay?
Ah.
Yeah. So what I want to do is go to a page in this document. And what I want to do is I want to edit that. And instead of 2, what I need to put it to is, I think, I should have, let me hit cancel. I forget the number. Let me hit cancel. Let me go to Udentialism. I just want to see what number it is. It's page, whoops, oh crap. I think it's page
7.
7. Okay, let's go to page 7. There we go, page 7. Okay, so let's go back to 2 and fix that. Enter. There we go. Now double click it. Okay, so if you make a mistake, which I've done it, if I'm hurrying, I make a mistake. All you're doing is you're re-clicking on this thing. It'll open up the link properties. You're not really going to change the appearance, but what you want to do is you want to change the action. So again, we can change this. We're not. We're fine with all this. All you want to do is correct the page. So I'm going to edit it, and instead of 2, I'm going to put in 7. Hit OK, and OK. And now that thing should take us to 7. All right?
Yep.
All right. Now here's what we want to do. We want to come down here, and we want to go to page 3. All right. And let's go to View. Let me see here. View. Zoom out. Where are we at here? What do you? Oh, all right, here we go. Let me do it just so I go 75. There we go. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. With my link, I'm going to come over here, and I'm now on page 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, all right? And it's going to come up, and I'm going to leave all this alone, go to the page view, all that's good. Next. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in 2 and hit enter, and enter, it comes back up, and I'm going to set that link. And you see it comes back to 3?
Yep.
Okay, now let's go to 4. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag this. And then I'm going to go to next. And I'm going to go to 2 again. I'm hitting 2. I'm just typing in 2 and hitting enter. And then I set the link. Okay?
Yep.
And then it brings, what's really nice about this is it brings you back to where the link is. Now, here's the thing that I want to show you. I'm not going to bother doing this, but you see this picture here?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the picture of John's website. If I wanted to, I could drag a link around this and just change the link behavior from edit web or document link. No, actually, remove web links, auto create. No, I would use the same one. I would click on this, and what I would do is I would go to a web. I would put a website in. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that for this particular thing. He didn't want that kind of a thing. I want to just show you basically how you can work your documents. So we got 4 now. We're going to go to 5, and let's click on 5, and let's drag a link around 5. And then go to next, and once again, we're going to go back to 2. We're almost done. 2, and enter, and set link. This is Rocking the Social. 5. Okay, so we're going to go to 6. All right, and that is Rocking the Social. And we're going to go to 2. Oops, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. 2.
Yep.
And hit enter. And set the link. So really all I'm doing is I'm going to each one of these pages, and where I have my little index here, I'm creating a shape around it, and I'm just directing my page back to 2, which is my enter, which is my index, and set the link. Now I don't know how many more I got. I think I might be done actually. Let's go to 2 and see. This is Edentialism 2, enter. Edentialism. Well, I got 2 more, John and the design process. So let me go to, let's just do 2 more for the heck of it. Let's go to 8, enter. Okay, so let's see here. I think that's it. And I actually have one on there already, so I got that one done. So let's go to How I Met John Carino. There we go. So I'm going to click on that, and drag around that, and then hit next, and go to 2, and enter, set the link, and one more, the design process. Let's just go to the design process. Oh, wait a minute. Design document, no. Keep going. Oh, whoop, there it was. See it, the design process.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna drag around there and hit next and go to 2 and enter and set the link and file save. So what do you think? You could do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, file save. Let me close it. You know what? I wonder if I can just do it this way. Let's see if I go to page 2 now. Yeah, see, I can't. I gotta. Okay, let me open it again. File open, and let's go to thesis document open. Okay, let's go to 2. All right, now let's see if any of these work. So let's go to Rocking the Prosthodontist, and there's my index. Go back to the index. See, works.
Yep.
Rocking the Social, there it is. Index. Edentialism, there it is. Go back to index. How I Met, there it is. Back. So the bottom line is now my instructor, when he gets this, he can do one of 2 things. He can just literally go from page 2 right on through there, or he can skip around and read any topic he wants. Like, for instance, here's the design process right here. And then he can automatically go back to the index and then go say, okay, I want to look at Rock and Social now. See what I mean? So he can actually come and look at anything he wants. So if you create a 5-part document, what you'll do is you'll create a cover, you'll create an index, and then you'll create 4 or 5 pages with your artwork on it. And I would put a piece of artwork and an explanation of that artwork on each separate page. And then you're going to put an overall support copy of support writing why you're doing what you're doing on separate pages, so that you could then do the same thing, where you could set up page 1 is my my thesis paper, and then page 2 is my ad, page 3 is my poster, page 4 is whatever it is. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the reason that I wanted to show you this, so that you actually, and again, I don't know, have you ever done this before?
No, but it seems simple enough to do.
It seems what?
Simple enough to do.
Okay. If you have any questions at all, you know, you can watch the video or give me a call. It's very simple. All you're doing is you're going into tools, you're going to edit video. Once you get into edit video, it's the link. And then you're just going to, you're going to add a link. Add a link. I'll do one more. Add a link. That's what, oops. Got to be careful not to grab the one that you already got in there. Add a link.
Yep.
And then, you know, what you're going to do is say, okay, and then you're looking for Enter Rhoda Medical, and I'm just going to go through the pages until I find Edit Rhoda Medical. And it's going to right there, and hit Set Link, and there you have it. And then what you're going to do is go and find Rhoda Medical and hit a return back to your index. And you would do that for all your pages. Really simple. What's nice about it is it's the exact same process going either way. You can't possibly lose.
Nope.
Okay? Any other questions or any thoughts or anything you need to know before I ditch this?
No, I'm good with that.
You're good with it. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. So we're going to close this. Yeah, close all of it. Save changes. No. All right. Now, so I got this. Remember, I have ad sizes, online sizes right here. I have them. I'm going to look at them. We're going to look at them next. And then the legitimacy of, and you can see what that is. And maybe we'll get to it. And then running world periodic electronic publications, and then what's the difference? So let's do this. Let's first of all, before we look at any of those others, we see how much time we got. It's 8:17. What I want to do now is I want to take a look at web ad sizes. No, actually, you know what? Before we go to web ad sizes, let me actually look at the paper. Magazine ads 1. Here we go. Okay, and let me go file open and show you magazine ads 2 open. All right, so now what I have for you is, and I don't know whether you've ever seen this before. I have seen this before because I have worked in ad agencies and graphic companies, and I've had to create all these different types of ads. So the bottom line is that what this is showing you is different types of ads. So what they're talking about here, and this is for the Patriot News, okay? Now this one here is for, let's see, what does it tell you? Does it tell you who it's for? ACTS publication. ACTS publication, okay? And this talks about targeted marketing. You have this, so you can actually open this up and you can look at all this. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to find when you go in. See, now here's your advertising rates. Look, it's giving you rates.
Yeah, it's even giving me page sizes and stuff.
Right. And then advertising rates for 4 times a year and distribution.
How many runs?
The distribution's interesting too, because you see how this is Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Texas. See what I'm saying? What you're looking for is you're looking for distribution for something that's in the area where your business is, first and foremost. I don't think
Utah.
Yeah. So if it's in, well, is that where the business would be, in Utah?
Yeah, I decided to go with Blue Mountain.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's no problem. So anyway,
ski resort time.
Yeah. And again, you know, look for publications that run, and they're going to be vacation publications or skiing publications, stuff like that, and try to see if they have distribution specifically in those areas. Target them first. So here's the deal: you have all columns. All columns means essentially that the entire page is being factored into this. Now, it also is going to either do one of two things. It's either going to bleed or it's not. You know what bleed is?
Bleed is stuff that goes past the
trim edge of the page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, if you have a picture that you want to go clean to the edge of the page, you give it an 1/8 inch bleed so that it goes beyond the page. So when they cut it back, it cleanly goes to the edge of the page. That's a bleed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what that is. Great. So here, look, it's telling you that should you decide to do a full page with bleed, the size is 8.875 inches wide by 11.375 deep. Okay, so do you know how to work with this?
That's what.
Let me show you.
Yeah, show me, because I'm not so sure.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to close this for now and save changes. No. And I'm going to close this for now and save changes. No. And let's go to, all right, I'm going to try to get this organized so I can get both of them where I can see them. Okay, so there it is, full page bleed. Let's pretend that we are going to do a full page bleed. All columns, full page bleed. All right, so what we would do is we would go, and remember now, this is going to be an ad. So how many pages are in the ad?
Usually 1.
There it is. Okay, file, new, document.
Yep.
Now you're going to come in here, and your intent is going to be print. And if you're going to be doing a web page, you're going to be using the web setting, right?
Right.
Okay, good. So you know that. Forget the mobile crap. You're not doing that. Web or print. In this
I was going to say, boss man, they'll say no mobile.
You can if you want. Look, I'm not saying you can't do it. I just don't think that people appreciate ads on their little phones. I think
Oh no.
Most people
myself.
that I've talked to found it to be very aggravating. So I think it's probably something you should not think about right now. So the first thing is you want to change this to print, right? Because this is for print. We're going to do a web one too. Number of pages, you're only going to have 1 page. Starting page 1, don't worry about that. Do you need facing pages?
No, not really, because you only got 1 page.
That's right. So we're going to delete that. Now, this says 8.5 IN. Now, what this we're looking for actually is 8 point, let's see, hold on a minute here, 8.875 minus 25 is 8.5, I think. 8.75. That's including the bleed. So full page bleed, I have to remove 0.125, 0.125 is, let me see. Give me a minute. I'm terrible with math. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Take your time.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to open this up. All right, so let's see. We've got 8.875, okay, minus 0.125, whoops, 125 equals, okay, and let's minus 0.125 again. Okay, so I think, see, because it's saying full page bleed. So you don't want to have it you want to have it so that it will bleed and you have an eighth of an inch of bleed. So I've taken out a quarter of an inch from that, right? So this would be 685. All right, let's try this first. Let me write this down. All right, so that I think it's 8.625. Do you kind of understand what I'm doing?
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm trying to extract out 0.125 is an eighth of an inch. 0.5
Right.
is a half an inch. So what I'm trying to do is I probably could have done it with just 0.5. So that would be 0.3. Is that 0.3? Well, I better not. Let me do it the other way because I think it might be 2. Let me do it the other way. So this one now is, I got that down. So this one is going to be 11.375 minus 0.125 equals, okay, and then I'm going to minus 0.125 equals 11.125 by 11.125. Okay, so hopefully that's correct. So then what I would do is I would come in here and I would set my width to be 8.625, okay, inch.
Yeah, and you got 8.8.
Yeah, I see it. I know. I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is going to be 11 points. So it's actually a little bit bigger. So 11.125. This is actually 11 and an eighth inches by 8 instead of 8.5, 8.625. So, you know, it's an eighth of an inch approximately both ways. That's what I think it is. Okay, and don't worry about the columns right now. I'm not going to do that. The only thing that we want to do is we want to set the margins. And what I would do for the margins is 125 is an eighth of an inch. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, so that means that I have a margin indicator that's going to be 1/8 of an inch from within the trim. You'll see that when the page comes out. Now I need to put bleed. This is where the bleeds come in. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that these are linked together, and I'm going to set a bleed of 0.125 IN. So what I've done now is I've given myself an eighth of an inch bleed all the way around. Okay?
Okay, but
Oh, I see there was a dead duplicate. 0.125 IN. Did that? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now, there we go. Okay, so we got a bleed, 0.251 in. So that's what we're doing. We're going to set this thing up for print, pages 1. That's just for this one right here. So what you have to do is you have to, because it's telling you in this particular case that full page bleed, those are the sizes. So you have to get rid of the bleed to get the actual size of the page. That's what I had to do. So does that make sense? You have any questions about what I did?
it makes sense.
Okay. You think you could do it without my help?
Yep.
Okay. So I didn't lose you by doing what I did.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to hit okay. And there's my page. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing the black line is my trim line or my cut line. That's where the actual page is going to cut out of the larger page, right?
Right.
That purplish colored line is the eighth of an inch of margin that I gave. In other words, if something doesn't bleed, we don't want it to go any closer to that edge than there. And actually, this is pretty close. If I wanted to, I could go up to the layout menu and I could go to margins and columns, and I could change the margins from 0.125 to 0.5 and hit OK. And you see how now I've made them greater?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
so
larger.
yeah, so you could do that. This means that this area will be like maybe just picture or color area or nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
and all the elements that do not bleed will not go any further than that. Now, this I would never change because I did it right. This is 1/8 of an inch of bleed. That's all you need. If you have that
Yep.
thing cutting to that page, if you have a picture, that picture's got to go to there. And if it's bleeding off the top, it's got to go to there. And if it's going to bleed off the
Exactly.
right, it's going to go there. And off the bottom, it's going to go there. So that's basically how you set it up if you were going to do an ad for your publication.
Yep.
All right, so you're good with that?
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look a little bit more at this. So we have 3-column format. So each one of these things now, each one of these things are for different. This is for full page, all columns. This is a 3-column. So what that's telling you is that, let me go to my page. Let me go back to my page for a second. God, did I shut it? No, I didn't. Here it is. Okay, so let's go in here and let's go margins and columns. Hold on. I'm going to try to explain this. So let's go to layout, margins, and columns. Okay, so let's say that we're going to have columns. This is, remember, the ad is going to be 4 columns. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 columns, okay?
Yep.
And the gutter, we're going to put a gutter of 1/8 of an inch. Point 1, 2, 5. Okay, that would not be the size that they would use, but they would give you size. I'm just using that to put a number in so that you could see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's hit OK. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Let's hit OK. And I don't get my layout, margins and columns. Columns 4, gutter. Point 1, 2, 5, IN. There we go. Hit OK. Okay, so there, what you have is 4 columns. Okay?
Makes sense.
Right. So now let's go back to our magazine. So what this is saying is it's a 3-column format. 2/3 of a page. 2/3 of a page vertical. That's what that looks like. That's 1/3 of a page vertical. Okay, so 2/3 of a page vertical is, let's see, 4.917 by 10. So what you would do is you would come in here and you would create a shape for your ad, okay? And you would make it, what is it? Where did I write it? 4.917.
Yeah.
7 IN, and then this would be 10, and hit OK. And there you have it. That is the actual ad that you would be doing. And let me bring it over to the 3rd column space. And let's put a border of around 5 points on it. 3 points is good. So there is your ad. There's your ad. Now, if I go to the view menu and I go to screen mode preview, that is what your ad will look like. Of course, that's just the frame of your ad. You understand?
Yeah.
And you would build your ad within this. Now, this ad isn't going to bleed. I mean, you're not going to be bleeding this particular ad. If you're going to bleed that ad, you'd have to find out what you would be paying for that to bleed. It would probably be an additional cost for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be.
Because remember, the publication has margins. This margin is a margin that I've invented. I don't know what the actual margin would be, but there would be margins out here, and you'd have 4 columns, and this would be part of that ad. So if I delete this thing, let's try one more. Just I want to make sure you understand this. Go to the view, and let's go to screen mode, and let's go back to normal. So there's our 4-column. This is actually the size of the page, and this is what the 4 columns probably would look something like. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
that's assuming it had a 1/4 of an inch of margin around the outside of it. And again, they would give you different numbers, and you would put those numbers in, and then you would generate your columns. I hope this is clear, what I'm saying.
That is clear.
All right, so let's go, and let's do a 1/3 version. So let's go to 1/3, which is, I'll mark this down as 1/3 is 4.917 4.917 by 4.875, correct?
Yes.
4. Okay, so let's see what that looks like if we were going to do that. We come in here to our page, and I would just get my box and I'd click to place the rectangle dialog box, and I'd actually build it from there. So this is going to be 4.917, and that already is. See that?
Yeah.
So I only have to change this to 4.875 and hit OK. And there it is. And then I'm going to drag this guy over here and place it up in the corner so that you can get the idea from it. And let's come in here and let's put another frame around that. There it is. Go to the view menu and let's go to screen mode, preview, and there is your ad space, your ad size. That's what your ad would look like. So what I'm doing basically is I'm showing you the live areas that you would be utilizing if you created those ads on your paper. So what I need to know to do that is I need to know the size of the magazine. So I got a full, it tells me with full page bleed what size that is. So it's basically the size
and
that
your column formats.
Yeah. And then basically what I can do is I can use any of this information I want, and I can create any kind of an ad that I want for print. This is for magazine ads. Okay? All right, so you're good with that?
Yes.
Now, as I say, you can always contact me if you need help.
Forget or need you.
Okay, so now let's go to web ads. So here we, and this, by the way, this is something I wanted to point out to you. You're going to like this, I think. This particular web ad size thing is called Designer's Toolbox, and it has
I have that link.
Huh?
I have that link.
You have this link?
Yeah, I got it from you when we were in package design.
Okay, this is a great link. It gives you envelope sizes. Now these are all generic, of course, but it gives you envelope sizes, typical folders, DVDs and CD covers and labels, postcards, business cards, standard foldings, binding sizes, paper sizes, web browser elements, safe areas, HTML, web banners, which is what we're on, phone and GUI equipment, fonts for the web, Laura Ipsum generator. It's all kinds of stuff. All of these things are things that you could possibly use. You could create envelopes and business cards for, I mean, it's up to you to decide. You could create a CD for one of your projects for this company. It's up to you. But a postcard, you could do a postcard, okay? So I'm just saying there's all these things in here. I give you all these different sizes. This is great. What we're concerned with right now is banners. So we have standard web banner sizes. Now, this is even give you examples. I'm going to show you. I'm going to click. There's an example. I don't know whether I can get it. Let's see. There we go. Is it going to show? Maybe not. Doesn't look very good, does it? All right, so can't do that. Close that. All right, so anyway, you got full banner, you got leaderboard, you got a square, and square, skyscraper. So there's three I want to look at. So let's do this. Let's come in here and let's create. Let's go file, new document, and we're going to call this web. Okay, number of pages. I'm going to make 3. All right, and you'll see why in a minute. And what I'm going to do first is let me just go back to my this. Let me make a note here of my first one, which will be the full banner. So I'm going to go 468p by 60p. Now, do you know why I'm saying p?
Because you're talking pixels.
That's right. You got it. You know what's going on. So we're going to do 3 of these things. So let's go in and make the first one, which is going to be where was it? 468. 468 tab by, what was it? 60?
60, yeah.
60. And let's go number of columns 1, margins. There are 0 margins on this. 0. and there's bleed none. Okay. And we're going to hit OK. And there we go. Let's go to the view menu and let's go fit page and window. There it is. Something's not right with this. What's going on here? Let's go layout.
No, that looks like a standard web banner.
Yeah, but it doesn't look right because I'm not the file document setup. Yeah, it's 648p by 60p. I guess it's right. Let's go view, zoom out. Somehow this doesn't look good. I don't know why I'm not getting, I thought I'd just get a black line. I don't know what those blue lines are right there.
I don't either.
Let's go zoom out. All right, you know what? Let me go to, this is InDesign, right? So let me see, I should have three of these guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the second one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this page and I'm gonna click on the page. And what I'm gonna do with this is, all right, this is where I gotta go back to my, so first of all, let me get out of here. What I got is I got three ads. The first one, I believe, is correct. The second one is exactly like the first one, right?
Yeah.
I want to change it. So what I want to change it to, hold on a second. Let me get this over here so I can get a better clean piece of scratch paper so I don't mess myself up. All right. So what I'm going to do is go back to my web ad sizes. What I'm going to do on this one is it's going to be a 336, okay, by 280. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to do another one, which is a skyscraper, which is 160 by 600. Okay, I want these things to look different. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to our second artboard. The second artboard is selected. I go to the artboard tool, or the page tool, sorry. Have you ever worked with the page tool before?
Yes.
So you click on the page tool, and what you can do now is you can come in here and you can set the width of that to 336, and then you can set, oops, nope, sorry, that's not the right one. I want this selected, and I want it to be here. Wrong one, I was going in the wrong place. This is going to be 336, and then this one is going to be 336, 280, 280. And then I click back up into there, and let's go view, fit artboard and window, or let's go zoom out. Let me fit page and window, how about that? Let's go view, zoom out. Zoom out. Here we go. You zoom out. I'm trying to see if I can get both of them to show. Actually, you know what I did wrong? I actually did the wrong one. So the first one became this. The second one is still correct. Okay, we're gonna leave that one alone. That's the actual page that we're gonna do. This one here is the third one. This is my third one. This one is going to be 160 by 600 there. And let's go view, fit page and window, and there is your skyscraper, and there is your original. See, now you see how you can actually begin to see the three of them. Okay, so there's your pages, and there's your different size ads. That's really all there is to it. You can do three, or you can just do one. I showed you how to do three.
Yeah, as long as they're not the master page.
Huh?
As long as they're not the master page.
Well, in this particular case, since you're making ads, you're not going to be using master pages at all. Okay?
That's good.
These master pages, just ignore them. You're not going to be using them. That's what you're seeing up here. Just ignore them, because all you're going to be using is this, this, and this. You know what I mean? You're not going to bleed anything. What you're going to do is, if you want something to bleed on this, instead of actually bleeding it, you're just going to run it to the edge. Because this doesn't get trimmed out the same way. This gets printed out as a JPEG, and it should come out. It should come out as a JPEG, perfect. The size that it should be. Let's see if I go file save as. See what happens if we go save as. Oh, cancel file. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Export. There we go. And we're going to call this sample web ads. And let's see what happens. You're going to go into week 2. Yeah, that's perfect. And hit save. And we're okay. Export. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when we open this up. All right, let's go view 100%. There's the first one. Okay. There's the first one. There's the second one.
Ooh.
There's the third one. View. Yeah, well, let's zoom it out and see. 75. Woo! There we go. You have to go all the way down to 50% to zoom that one because it's a big one. But
yeah.
you see how we get 3 perfect ones? Yeah. That's it. There's your ad. And there's no bleed involved in this. Your artwork would go right to the edge and it would all be inside of this. Okay? So that's how you would create your web ads, just by doing that. And then you're going to export them as a PDF. And what you could do is, if you were creating a series of PDFs, you know that you could go into Acrobat.
And put them all together.
Right. You can go into Acrobat and, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Not what I wanted. You can go into Acrobat. Where's Acrobat? I can't even see it now. It's open. And come into Tools, and then just go create PDF from multiple files. So if you decide that, like, say, for instance, in one document, you're going to do 2 different ads for online. And then let's say you're going to do one ad for a magazine. And then one piece of art you're going to do would be a billboard piece of art. And I actually have a billboard piece of art that I'll show you too. I don't know whether it's in here or not. Let me see. I want to show you that real quickly. Subway poster rates. Here we go. Okay, so are we good with, are we good so far with this?
Yes.
Okay, so then what we would do is, let's go to web ad size back here again. And again, banner sizes. All right, so Subway poster rates. Again, this is just something that I thought you might consider. In the particular page that I found, I found these, which is backlit diorama, and the range is $400, $1,950 per ad per 4-week period. Okay,
so
I guess
run.
Yeah, so I guess what they're saying, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong or me interpreting this, but I think if it's 1 week, it's $400. If it's 4 weeks, it's $1,950. That's what
It's per ad.
Range of $400 to $1,950 per ad per 4-week period. So
if it's, it probably depends on the content and the size.
Well, this is a backlit diorama. That's a particular type. There's a 2-sheet range of $400 to $950 per ad per 4-week period. So what I think they're saying is that you create an ad, it's $400 for 4 weeks. It runs for 4 weeks. They'll give you a price of $1,950 per ad per 4-week period.
That makes sense.
I'm not sure. I think it's $400 if you do it once. And for 4, it's $1,950. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's not right either. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'd have to check it out, to be totally honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what they mean here with that. But at any rate, then you've got a 2-sheet interior display visual range. Let's see, minimum purchase of 30 to 100 survey. Okay, here we go. So it's minimum purchase of 30 to 1,000 Subway advertisements. So what they're saying is that you can purchase 30 of these pieces to 1,000, and they would go up at different parts of the Subway. That makes sense, depending upon the Subway ads, medium, timing, and market. Okay? All rates and minimum purchase figures for Subway advertising depend on the Subway ads, medium, timing, and market. Subway ads may change without notice. So let's see what we got here. Specifications. So government and nonprofit organizations, you don't need that. It's not you. Range of impressions, views depends on market. Lead time is approximately 3 weeks. So their production times are 3 weeks, can be reduced in certain cases. You know what would govern that, don't you?
The designer.
No, the money. If they reduce, you're going to pay extra for it to be reduced. That I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what we have. Size. All right, backlit diorama. Impressions, views range of 3,000 to 10,000 per ad per day. They're giving you a range, I guess, of Impressions, views. Oh. How many people are estimating, I guess, would be 3,000 to 10,000 people per day to view this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it does. Size is 64 by 43. So this is a 64 wide by 43 high. That's a backlit diorama. A two-sheet.
Yeah.
Impression views range of 2,000 to 8,000 per ad per day. Size is 60 wide by 46. Now, actually, these are very nice sizes, but keep in mind, these things are printed, and there's going to be a lot of additional
Work involved.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to do films, and you're going to have to, have the films checked to make sure that the color's correct, and you have to do all this before these guys get it and print these posters. So, and then there's an interior display, vertical format. Impressions, views range of 1,000, 5,000 per day. Size is 21 by 22. So interior display, horizontal format impressions range 2,000 to 6,000 per ad per day. And then the size is 28 by 11 or 46 by 11 or 70 by 11, depending upon the market. So I guess there's in different areas, the sizes would vary. So you would have to make a determination of, whether you're going to go in one market or you're going to be doing more than one market. Your sizes would vary. The height seems to stay the same, but they would give you greater lengths. That's what it looks like. You've been on a subway, right?
Actually, yes.
So you know what they're talking about. There's two different types of posters in the subway. There's the posters that run along the head, and then there's the big posters that run down right by the doors. Okay, so that's the kind of thing we're talking about. And then, of course, when you're in the subway outside, that's where these big posters come into play. So,
exactly.
There's also posters that can be put on buses. If you want, you can look into putting posters on buses. So, don't just feel that you're stuck with subways. I think subways are a good one because a lot of people travel by subway. Now, are they the right people? That you have to determine. That's something you have to decide yourself, whether they're right or not. But
there's also people who travel by train.
Yeah, and they do similar things in the train. Yeah, in the trains they have similar things. They have posters that run right by the back doors, usually in the front doors, and sometimes in some of the trains they have overheads. Although I don't think quite as much. I think mostly they have just the back wall and the front wall by the entrance and exit doors. That's what I think they do. But then there's also the posters in the train station. There's also bus posters. Usually those posters would be either on the waiting kiosks, the kiosks where you stand out of the rain. They have posters there, and they sometimes have posters on the side of the subway. So there's another way that you can go. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of up to you to decide what your plan for marketing your customer is and what it entails. Like maybe in the area that your business is located, maybe they have a train, and maybe you'd want to put a poster in a train. So you'd look up the train in the area and see if you could get information about the sizes for posters for that train. Or maybe there's buses that run in that area. See, again, I don't know.
I don't know if there's buses in Salt Lake.
I don't know anything about it, but I'm saying you could look this, you could do the research to look it up and just see what you find. But the bottom line is what you're ultimately doing is coming up with five things you need to do. And they could be anything from a web ad to a print ad to a mailing piece, a direct mail piece, like a postcard type of a deal. And there are, well, if you want, let's go back real quickly because we got some
mixed
time.
Multimedia, do a mixed multimedia.
Yeah, check this out. See, now here's postcards, and there's tons of postcards. See, look, there's
postcards would seem more something like the Mountain.
Well, direct mail, but then you see the problem with direct mail is you have to buy lists from somebody, and you have to make sure that the lists are going to do what you want them to do. So you'd have to figure out where you would get your list from. You see what I mean? Yeah. And you certainly don't want to get your list. Well, maybe you do. You might even want to consider getting a list from the people that you're running your ads in, like in the magazine. Okay, so that this way the people who have that magazine or the online magazine would also get a mailer from you. So again, you have to kind of figure out
Yeah.
what the strategy might be for this. And there's a lot of ways you can think about it. You know, whatever you submit to me, I'll talk to you about, and I'll help you refine it any way that I can. Okay, but you have to
Yep.
figure out 5 things that you're going to do. And what I would do is I would figure out from a design standpoint what your overall look's going to be. I'd try to keep it as simple as possible and set it up so that you could easily coordinate it between the media types that you choose. But you can see
Yeah.
here in the postcards, there's lots of sizes here. There's a 6 by 4.5, a 7 by 5, 9 by 6, and there's even folded ones. There's an 8.5 by 11. That's mammoth, you know.
Mhm.
And I guess that folds. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. But see, they even give you they even give you InDesign files, so you actually don't even have to create this. If you download that, see, look at I got a postcard. You know what? Let me hit cancel. Let me go back and get another one. I want the 9 by 6. Look at that. Okay, hit OK, and now if
It
I
also even gives you your mailing guidelines.
yeah, oh, I'm going to get that next. See, watch now. I'm going to open this up, and you can see what they send you. It's cool. They actually send you a layout. So all you need to do literally is watch. Here it comes.
Throw your artwork in it.
There it is. There it is. And you got 2 sides. Let's go view, fit. Let's go zoom out. I guess I have to zoom out to see both of them. View, zoom out. Yeah, see, now what they're doing is, if you zoom out again, there it is. Now, see what they're doing here? This is the front. And essentially what they're saying is you can do whatever you want on the front. Notice what they're doing here, though. You see they got areas blocked off?
Yeah, that's for mailing.
That's for the postal regulations. There are certain areas that you must not interfere with. The postal people need these areas kept clear. So essentially they're saying you could pretty much do what you want around here. You just can't do anything there. That's why they're there.
As long as you're in the white space, it's okay.
Pretty much it's okay. Yeah, you just got to keep that corner open and you got to keep this area open. That's for some sort of a code. This is for addressing, and that's for stamping.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And then, of course, if you go
is.
back here, let me go back to the page. Where was I here? Wait a minute. Where was it? How do we get here? Oh, I'm in InDesign. What's this all about? I want to go to there. No, what's going on here? How did I get here? How did I get here? Let's do it again.
Clicked.
I lost it.
Oh, man.
I'll come back to this. Hold on. I'll come back to this. Let's go to postcard sizes again. I don't know what happened. Here we go. Okay, so then let's just take a look at the mailing guidelines. See, here it goes. Check it out. This is great because what it's doing essentially is it's showing you. So it's telling you that 1.25 wide by 1.5 inches deep. You have to leave that clear so that you could put your mailing indicia. And then the recipient mailing address is 2.75, and you must have it at least clear 2 and 1 to 5 inch from top to bottom. And then across the entire bottom, you got barcode, post office markings, and that is 6.25 IN. So, I mean, this is great. So one of the reasons that I'm going to close this, one of the reasons why I wanted to send you this, and did you say you got this from somebody else or from me?
I got that from you about back when we did packaging design.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen.
I know I've had 3 previous classes with you, and 2 of them were like way back in the day.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, this is
it's like having an old friend for a teacher.
Yeah. I think it's great, actually. I'm really.
I do.
Well, anyway, here's the reason that I specifically gave you this one is because of all this. I think there's just so much in here.
Yeah, there's so much that can help.
Yeah, so you need to figure out what you're going to do, who you're going to do it for, and what media are you going to use. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to turn it over to you. Anything you got that you want to ask me, anything you want to address, anything at all?
Well, I was thinking about doing the Blue Mountain thing.
Yeah.
And instead of basing it at families, base it at young adults.
Well, that would be fine. So what you would have to do is you'd have to think about where you would market your young adults, and I would look up vacationing for young adults and see
Yeah.
what comes up, and vacations for young adults. And then what you would do is you would kind of look over the whole thing and get a sense of how those vacations are being marketed visually. And then you would come up with some kind of a way of interpreting yours that way. And again, if you need visuals, don't be afraid to use the internet, or I think there also is a resource that you can use in Independence. There's a place that you can go for
I
images.
know we had Stock Exchange.
Yeah, so check that out. You probably still have it. And
I've got a bunch of resources, and I go in and I'll, like type in free photos, stuff like that.
okay, so what you're looking for is, and again, I would check to see whether this place actually exists. If it doesn't actually exist, find something similar to it, get a sense of what they're doing, and then I would
in the area.
Yeah, and then what I would do is I would go in for my target audience. I would look up vacations for the target audience and see what kind of visuals come up, and then you decide on an approach. And then that approach is what you're going to use for all your pieces. You're going to modify each piece to fit the particular media and produce a piece for that particular media and try to coordinate the whole thing, and you should be golden.
And survey says, because I just hit Google.
So you good?
I think for the most part,
Okay.
I just need to sit down, watch the previous links, the previous.
Yeah, the previous sessions.
Oh, and by the way, Blue Mountain was a ski resort, and they are no longer with us.
So is there a website there, or is it gone?
It looks like it's gone.
Okay. So you'll find something similar.
Well, I can go with there's a lot of stuff in here that I can use from the old Blue Mountain.
Well, that's fine. Then that's what I would do. I would use some of it. I wouldn't use all of it, but I would use some of it. And you might even take a look at what they were doing and see one of two things. Maybe you either go with the colors that you have if you think it's a successful look, or you create your own feeling, your own look.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
They were in Monticello backcountry.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So get whatever information you can out of it, because again, that'll help you. But then remember, you're going to make it your own ultimately.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm going to binge watch tonight and start designing.
All right. And I'm in Blackboard tomorrow night and Friday if you need me, and you can always give me a call or an email. I'm going to end recording.
Okay.